I'm Don Wadewitz, and this is a look inside the Warhawks with Warhawks head men's basketball coach Jarod Wichser, brought to you by American Family Insurance agent Kyle Danielson in Fort Atkinson, Burtness Chevrolet Buick GMC, and Burtness Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Whitewater, and Cook Logistics in Delavan, where every shipment is important and every mile matters. Coach Wicks, an opportunity to talk here again as the season's kind of getting into that wind down phase, and you have a couple of home games left this Saturday against UW Stout, Alumni Day. We'll come back to that in a moment. And then your last home date is February 19th against UW Platteville. That senior night, going to be a really special night considering that you took down the number one team in the country, UW Platteville, since the last time that we talked. A little bit about that game and what you saw from your team.
Yeah, that was a huge win for us, for our guys, and for the program. It had been some time, I think, since Whitewater had knocked off a number one ranked team. It was one of those days where everything kind of felt good going into it. You felt good about the prep that had been done, shoot around, pregame, all that stuff was pretty aligned. And, we just got great effort and great contributions from so many guys in that game. You know what I mean? And we got off to a great start, shooting the ball well. That always helps. Had a nice halftime lead, but you know as well as I do, when you're on the road against the number one ranked team in the country, they're not just gonna go away. So for me, the most important or most impressive part of that victory was, Platteville coming back and actually taking the lead, and then how our guys responded, even at that point. Being on the road, having lost that lead and seemingly all the momentum, we just had, three or four guys hit some really big time shots. We got some huge stops and some crucial moments. We were good enough from the free throw line. We weren't great, but we were good enough from the free throw line. Anytime you get a victory in our league on the road, Don, it's really sweet. That's a great bus ride home, but certainly knocking off the number one team in the country at their place, that adds a little bit to it. So it was a really good night for our program, and I was just really happy for our guys.
They'll be looking to avenge that loss on February 19th, 7 o'clock at the Ketchel. But that's senior night, and you've got a couple of seniors on your squad. And I just want to give you a little space to be able to talk about those gentlemen and what they've meant to your program.
Yeah, Carter Capstrand and JT Hoytink are a couple seniors that we'll recognize on the 19th. Both of those guys, JT's in his fifth year, Carter in his fourth. Both of those guys have came in at a time where we were kind of revamping things as far as the program goes, and for them to have assisted the program and winning a conference tournament championship in their time here and getting us back to the NCAA tournament and then getting us all the way back to the Final Four eventually. It says a lot about those two and their work ethic and their leadership. And Carter is a guy who leads by example, but can also be a vocal leader at times. And JT is a guy who doesn't say a lot, but really just with how hard he practices, how hard he plays, how he prepares and takes care of his body. They've just been really a pleasure to coach, whether I was the assistant or the head coach. Just two great guys that put the program first, that are about the right things. They take care of their schoolwork. They lift hard. I'm excited to honor them on Wednesday on the 19th. And like you said, that'll be a tough battle against Platteville, who'll be looking to no doubt get some revenge for what we did at their place. Those two young men have meant a lot to our program, and I'm excited for the opportunity to honor them on the 19th.
And then Saturday is Alumni Day at 5 o'clock start at the Ketchel against UW Stout. That is one where you want to avenge a couple of heartbreakers to that Blue Devil squad. What are some of the things planned for Alumni Day? What are you looking to accomplish with that special night?
The first thing is, like you said, we do need to avenge a very difficult loss that we had up there, and that's happened a couple years in a row now. And honestly, Don, between you and I, we've had a couple rough alumni days in a row. So we need to get back on track. We have a lot of just historically great coaches and players who have come through the program, and obviously many of them come back on that day. And so we started off with an alumni game at 1:30. We followed that up with an alumni social for our alum, and then also our tip-off members down at 841 Brew House at 3 o'clock. And then that sort of leads into the game against Stout that kicks off at 5 o'clock. First and foremost, we need to get a victory. Like I said, we've had a rough stretch of alumni games, alumni days, and so we need to make sure we take care of that. And that's going to be a big game, in the conference race. If you look at the rankings right now and kind of where we're trying to battle and position ourselves, that's one that we need to try and get.
All right, Coach. A couple of games coming up. Alumni Day, that's coming up on Saturday, 5 o'clock against Stout. And then the final regular season home game, February 19th, UW-Platteville. It'll be senior night, a 7 o'clock tip-off for that one. Coach Wicks, thanks for taking the time to chat with me yet again.
Hey, thanks again, Don. Appreciate you.
This was a look inside the Warhawks, brought to you by American Family Insurance agent Kyle Danielson in Fort Atkinson, Burtness Chevrolet Buick GMC, and Burtness Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Whitewater, and Cook Logistics in Delavan, where every shipment is important and every mile matters.